The axing of 4 regional news services in New South Wales and Queensland is being labelled as a big blow for local communities. Commercial TV company Win will no longer produce bulletins from bureaus in Wide Bay, Albury, Wagga and Orange. George Seymour is the Mayor of the Fraser Coast Regional Council and he joins us now from Hervey Bay. George Seymour, welcome. So how do you feel about this?
Yeah, Joe, this is very unfortunate for our community. We've seen over time the loss of media diversity, whether it's radio, print and now TV. Win News has been a part of our community for many, many years. I know the journalists personally, obviously, and the cameramen and the staff, and it's a blow to our community.
So how important is that local news service for the community?
Yeah, local news is really important. As somebody who's very involved in the body politic, and we want to have an informed professional journalist, because if you don't have informed professional journalists informing the community, you're left with lies and vitriol on Facebook and social media misinforming it. We want to have a vibrant, really healthy journalism, sector, and to see the loss of one part of that is a very sad day for our community, and it's just one further step in, the diminution of media diversity.
Yeah, and with the closure of the news service, what does the community lose in terms of intangible things like ability to generate spirit and things like that?
That's right. Strong media is really good for community spirit. There's 10 or 11 jobs that are lost. I think one of the Win reporters, Hope Wilson, she's one of the star players on our AFL team, Bay Power. So we lose people. We use young people. The young journalists, when they graduate, they come to our region. So we lose people like that. Lisa Miller and Quinton Dempster started their careers here. So we lose that vibrancy of, people who are engaged in the community, but also as a community as a whole, we want to have media informing people about the events happening on the weekend, about the people succeeding, people who are on the Queen's Birthday Honours list. So when you see that loss of local content on our TV, it's much more than just knowing about the latest council scandal. It is about our community, and it's a sad day.
Yeah, and the company talks of a reduction in demand for local news bulletins because of changing consumption habits being behind this. What do you make of that explanation?
Yeah, over time, I think about the media. When I graduated from high school in 1997, the job ads in the Saturday paper was huge. It was hundreds of pages. Now there's nothing there. So what you've seen with the papers for 20 years and loss of the class of fields, you're now seeing with TV stations with advertising going to Twitter and Facebook. So everybody knows it's the business model that's what's the problem here. The business model to support a newsroom it's getting tougher and tougher. So I know why Win, I hope Win reverses this decision, but it's just one more step in what we've seen in terms of the loss of local content because of where the advertising dollars are going.
Yeah, the federal government has previously allocated money for regional journalism. Would you like to see the federal government step in here?
Oh, yes, I think that there is a role for the federal government to ensure that it's about a healthy community. If you don't have a community that knows what's happening, that you don't have journalists questioning mayors, mayors need to have journalists who ask the tricky questions, that they're professional and independent. Because like I said, if they're not informing the community, you have lies and smear and innuendo on social media misinforming it. It's in everybody's best interest to have professional, independent journalism. And what we're seeing in communities like ours across the country is newsrooms getting smaller and smaller and more centralized. And it's a very sad, continual backward step to see media ownership centralising and becoming less diverse.
Could these news organisations adapt to the new media landscape in a more effective way to ensure that the services are commercially viable, or do you think that is just too tough?
It is really tough. I've seen the newsrooms change over the last 20 years. Now it's, there might be a single reporter coming out taking the photographs as well. I know how difficult it is. People expect to be able to read the newspaper stuff for free rather than subscribing. There's just been this change of sentiment towards being willing to pay for good, independent, quality journalism, which it's a much bigger picture. There's no easy answer, obviously. The companies are trying many different things, but it's with less and less resources, and nothing's working.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's hope it can survive somehow. George Seymour, thanks so much for talking to us this morning from Hervey Bay in Queensland.
Thank you, Joe.